All right, I'm just gonna recognize Rios because he was listening before. Make sure I forget. But Steve DeBose, you want to ask a question now?
Oh, John. Well, I just want to commend you on doing what was a passion of both yours and mine, the dental and the optical. Yeah. And he brought up that thing too, because I recently paid a crazy amount of money for a root canal. I mean, thank God I had that flex spending. But my thought was, I had spoken with a couple of senior guys, and they were telling me that there's some contracts before this. They had to concede to give up things so that they could get things. You know, like the unborn will take care of themselves. The more I hear about what has happened, I'm kind of leaning toward that maybe you did the best that could be done considering the circumstances.
I second that.
That everybody,
that. Thank
you. And everybody else will follow what you have basically put your foot in. Now, I just wanted to ask, real, this is my question in lieu of all of that. Had you, I mean, I'm sure that you got professional negotiators to kind of consult you on certain issues. Had you held out, like Mr. Dempster was alluding to, had you held out with the rest of the bodies of unions around the city and the state, could you have in some way pushed an arbitration board to give us what we want more, give us more than what we got, and thus other unions would have followed suit with you?
I don't think so at all. I absolutely don't think so. I think there's a New York City pattern coming that may very well be affected by the pattern that we're establishing right now.
Right.
But for this, there's a New York City pattern coming with zeros in it from 2012 to 2018 with potential 9-year contracts. And people have been reading this, right? I'm not the only one. They're talking about 9-year contracts.
By the way, Mr. Samuelsen, the Daily News endorsed your contract, and that sets up red flags right away.
Yeah.
Because they hit us.
But the post attacked it. That should have set up green flags.
It's against us all the time. Mark. 1 second, Mark. Yes.
Twofold question. One, what are we taking away in retirement? And two, what have we lost on this particular contract?
Okay, so the answer to the first question is, we're not taking anything away from retirement. We're gaining in retirement. We're gaining spousal lifetime coverage for our spouses, wives and husbands. We're taking nothing away. Nothing. Retirement remains absolutely unchanged.
And better?
Period. And better because we're getting lifetime spousal coverage.
Okay.
On the other hand, the answer to the other question is that every single negotiation is a compromise. The company was looking for the massive concessions that I outlaid before. Part-time bus operator, Optical, privatization, massive expenditures, out-of-pocket increases on healthcare. We did settle for a compromise. The new hires that are not on the property yet are going to go 5 years to top pay. And we're going to go from 1.5 to 2 points on healthcare on 40 hours, not on gross. And the half a point is not going to be taken out of the retroactive pay at all. The half a point is going to begin the first paycheck that we get the wage increases, and it will not be taken out on retro. So every negotiation is a compromise. It seemed like a very responsible thing for me to do, to get rid of part-time bus operator demands, opto demands, privatization demands, to agree to go to 5 years to top pay for folks that aren't here yet. Yes.
Yeah. I see that you did a couple of things for the spouses help on the spouses bill. Was it ever put on the table this astronomical amount of money that you have to pay to leave your spouse the pension? This is just an astronomical amount of money.
It's an astronomical amount of money, but it's not a contract negotiation item. It's a New York State legislative item. The way that NICES does the actuarial formula for you to take the spousal option on your pension.
It's just a lot of money. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
John, I'll talk to you about that later on, okay?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, did tier 1 and 2 pay for that wife option also? I mean, I was here, but I was a young brother, but I'm just saying, if they pay, like what he just said, for their...
Yeah, tier 1 and 2, if they took, there were options that they took.
Yeah, they paid.
That's definite.
Not for, for the death benefit. If you,
right, that's definite. Right.
If you want your spouse to take a chunk of your pension when you pass away, There's options to take.
Right.
But the one thing that we did fix, which is a huge amount of money, is the lifetime spousal. There's medical benefits now. You take the spousal option, right? So your wife keeps collecting the pension. Should you pass away in retirement.
Right.
And now we have lifetime medical coverage for spouses, which takes a big chunk of money and puts it right back in your pocket.
All right, we can't get too much in the MTA bus debate, but you can ask the question, right?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, MTA Bus, East Chester Depot. You know, congratulations on your contract. I love it. It sounds really good. And definitely congratulate you for killing that part-time stuff, because they were trying to swirl around on the MTA Bus side. But again, you know, our people are waiting for parity or something like that. I personally don't like it. I know several years ago said we were all supposed to negotiate contracts together. I'm gonna sit down and you can answer it. But it seemed like we didn't negotiate a contract together, and it's getting us a little down because we're part of the MTA Bus, MTA family as well. Thank you.
All right. I mean, just to answer the first question that you said, or the first point that you're making, there's two distinct contracts. They're not the same contract. So there's two different bargaining units. There's one OATA bargaining unit and one MTA Bus bargaining unit. At the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, I was bargaining both contracts simultaneously. When it came down to it, the contract that we settled for the OA and TA becomes the template for the MTA Bus contract. So even though the contracts weren't negotiated together, I have language written into the OA-TA contract that we're now seeking ratification on that says that immediately upon ratification, we begin the process of delivering this contract to MTA Bus. But there's a couple of differences, right? We need to fix the pension at MTA Bus. That's a goal of ours as a union leadership to fix the pension at MTA Bus, which is far inferior to the OA-TA pension, and I recognize that. So we're going to get to the MTA Bus negotiation immediately upon ratification of this contract.
Take it over here.
We voted on it already?
The executive board voted on it. The members are going to get ballots in the mail in about a week.
So let me say everybody agreed and we are on the same page. Would we get a contract mailed to our homes?
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, without a doubt. You're going to get everything I signed.
Okay, I'm going to take questions 1 minute, but just two things he has to address on his telemark.
Yeah, okay. So just specifically to buses, I've spoken many times about the dangers of bus operators. I've come into here and even spoken with humility about what John Samuelsen thought about bus operators' safety before I got elected president and what I thought about it after I got elected president. Before I got elected president, there was a time where I thought I might take that bus operator test and work at Flatbush Depot, which is about a mile from my house. Figured I'd be able to go home on my swing and have lunch with my kids and whatnot, but I'm finding Dandy as a track worker now after watching what bus operators go through. All right, so it's been a goal of this union for the installation of bus partitions. The company has agreed it's contractual that by the end of this contract, which is now 2.5 years away, there'll be a partition on every single bus for bus operators. So, second point, it actually drove me freaking nuts that people could come on a bus and spit at a bus operator. It's disgusting. If they spit on anybody else, they'd get their faces punched in, but they think they can come on a bus and spit at a bus operator. We bargain language that now creates a DNA swab. They have it in other cities. If somebody spits on you, you're going to be able to take a swab, put it in an evidence bag, and give it to the police, and they're going to run the swab through a DNA database, and they're going to issue warrants to go find people that spit on bus operators. And it really is a disgusting thing.
As far as I'm concerned, there's not really that much given if you go to a better optical place. Can you give us like a dollar amount?
No, but I will be able to within a few days. We negotiated about a 400% increase in the amount of money that they kick in for our optical. What we intend to do is go to a provider with that money and say, what's the best benefit that you can give local 100 members for this money? And we're going to bid it. We're going to make people work for us and see what they can give, and then pick the one who gives us the most. Who's going out to do that?
Mike. Go ahead, Mike.
I've been here about 27 years, different presidents, and you know, I respect what you said that this contract is it. It seems like you gave us a good contract, but there have been times in the past when, you know, we ratify a contract, the members sign off, and then 6 months, a year later, we find out there was something in the contract that nobody knew about but the president. You're saying, you said earlier, this is it. So I'm going to respect your word as a man and
Good.
as the president of this union that this is it.
Let me answer that. I've stood this room many times. I've not lied to anybody about a damn thing yet. And I'm telling you what's in that contract is that contract. I'm not selling anybody down the river. I'm not doing any dirty deals with the governor or with the MTA. What you see is what you get. Every document I sign is going to be in that deal when you see it.
I gotta go. You gotta go to another meeting. So is that it? Yes, that's it.
God bless you. God bless you. First of all, I want to thank you for this contract. I've been retired for about 2.5 years. I spent over $700 out of my pension money so my wife could get 100% of money if I pass away. I'm not worried about Jody or this, that, the other, but they treated me well, and that is a phenomenal goal that they've done, that your spouse has something after. I've looked at the percentages. It's an excellent contract, and I guarantee you every union is going to have to follow suit with what we get. And I hope that in time you'll appreciate what you're getting now, as I do, retired.
All right, thank you, brother.